one player in this article saying that Preller and Melvin's relationship is, quote, unfixable, end quote. One player, and this is just one player, but they think that the relationship between AJ Preller and Bob Melvin is unfixable. Do I think that their relationship is truly like 100% unfixable? I don't, because I still want to give AJ Preller the ability to change. But there was an article that was written in 2021 from Dennis Lin and Ken Rosenthal that had a lot of negative things about AJ Preller in it and how he operates. And if I was AJ Preller, I would have read that article and been, okay, I need to go talk to a lot of people in this organization, and I need them to truly tell me how they feel about how I run things. How should I improve? How can I improve? I obviously need to get better with my communicating, how I run things. So I'm going to go try to do that. But 2 years later, you read this article and a lot of the same stuff is popping up about the micromanaging, him, there's a lot of people talking about how, oh my gosh, he's the hardest worker in the world. He works so freaking hard. He is obsessed with trying to get better, incrementally better. But there's also the same stuff about him getting in on some things that maybe he should just let the people that he hired do those jobs, like people in, the coaching staff. And we'll get to that because there's stuff about the coaching staff with like AJ Preller insisting on some guys hitting off of the velo machine, throwing 100. Little things like that where some people in the organization don't 100% agree on that. He wants people doing extra work, and some players don't really believe in that because they're like, hey, it's a long season, and us doing that in August and September, I mean, we're gassed. I think that was one of the quotes in this article. So there's a lot there, but specifically with Bob and with AJ, the rift between the two became one of the worst kept secrets in baseball, according to Dennis Lin and Ken Rosenthal here in this article. So almost everyone knows, like, okay, AJ and Bob, they don't get along. It's not going great. So my question there is like, okay, then how is Bob Melvin going to return in 2024 to be the Padres manager? If it's the worst kept secret in baseball, one of the worst kept secrets in baseball, that there is a major disconnect, there is a rift between the two, why would Bob Melvin want to do this again? It's not like they're going to be a postseason team and it's like, oh, well, we're having success, so I can deal with it for one more year. He's not on the same page with AJ Preller, clearly. He was so used to having Billy Beane, and this was pointed out in the article, having Billy Beane be at 40,000 feet. But AJ Preller, he's in the dugout, it seems like, all the time. He's at 10,000 feet, not 40,000 feet. And Preller brings Bob Melvin in here, and Bob Melvin's probably like, okay, so I'm going to be able to have all of this talent, more financial resources, and I'm going to be able to do my job. I'm going to have my coaches be able to do their jobs. Yeah, we'll have a lot of success here. Because he was probably thinking, yeah, Preller would be dumb to be micromanaging and trying to be so involved with my coaching staff and things that are happening on the field, But no, Preller, he continues to want to be involved in every little thing and micromanaging. And that clearly has rubbed some people the wrong way in this organization. There is no doubt about that. I'm just reading from this article here, and you compare 2021 and 2023, because the 2021 article, there's similar stuff as the 2023 article. And Preller says in 2021 about Jace Tingler, talking about the crucial thing in any organization is to be on the same page, essentially, is what he was saying about Jace Tingler. Now in this article in 2023, you're never going to agree on everything. ... That's healthy. Like, that's a healthy thing to do. He was talking about that to either Dennis Lin or Ken Rosenthal, or to both, whoever he spoke to for this article that came out. So he's just spinning it whatever way is convenient for him. Oh, with Jace Tingler, it's good to be on the same page. Oh, with Bob Melvin, you're not on the same page? Well, no, that's healthy. That's a healthy thing to not be on the same page. Like, which one is it? Right? Which one is it? And it feels like there's obviously, it's not, it feels like there obviously is a disconnect between the two. And if you're Bob Melvin, and this isn't working out, why would you want to be the manager under AJ Preller for the 2024 season? To deal with AJ again in 2024? Maybe he's going to do it because he just wants to finish out the contract. He doesn't want to let the players in that clubhouse down because he was under contract and he doesn't want to see that as him quitting on those players. But he's not going to be managing in 2024 because he loves AJ Preller, right? Don't see that happening. And it feels like there was the stuff about Bruce Bochy, right? Like Bruce Bochy, there's no way that Bruce Bochy would, you know, allow AJ Preller to do some of the stuff that AJ Preller is allowed to do. There's no way he'd take this Padres job. That was after the Padres let go, I believe, of Jace Tingler. And maybe there was some of that Bochy talk. Maybe Bob Melvin should have took that clue and be like, well, there's probably some red flags here. Or maybe he understood the red flags. He understood what he was going to have to deal with AJ. And he just took it because this is going to be his best shot to win the World Series, he thought, because of the talent on this team. And things obviously haven't worked out this year. Now, they got to the NLCS last year, but they went on a run. You know, they didn't have as good of a team, I don't think, like talent wise, at least superstar wise, right? They didn't have Xander Bogaerts, didn't have Fernando Tatis Jr., didn't have Hader and Soto for the entire year. You know, Manny was out a little bit, right? Manny was out a little bit this year as well, but you get my point. He probably thought, okay, we're only going to keep building from here. But they have taken a huge, not just a huge step back, but multiple big steps back this season. So I wonder if Bo Mel would stay. But why would Bob Melvin stay? Would it be because he's like, well, the 1 inning record, that's not going to happen again. The extra inning record, right? The 1-run games, the extra inning records, those aren't going to happen again. There's no way that all of these superstar players are going to perform like this again next year. So I am just going to stay for one more year, play out this contract, deal with AJ for 2024, and hope that the talent can get the Padres into the postseason and we can go win the World Series because there's a lot of talent still going to be on this team. But he could also look at it as, well, Blake Snell's not going to be here probably. Josh Hader's probably not going to be here. Juan Soto might be traded. I don't think that's going to happen, but it could happen. I'm going to have to deal with AJ Preller again in 2024. We thought that this year was our best chance. We're going to have a better chance of winning in 2024 without Blake Snell, without Josh Hader, maybe without Waka, maybe without Lugo. Who knows what happens there? We're going to have a better shot. I mean, this was supposed to be that year. So I don't know. I think Bob would want to stay because he believes in the talent, the superstars in that clubhouse, and he doesn't want to give up on the players, and he wants to go through this contract. But he has had to probably deal with a lot this season, obviously, and just even last year, obviously had to deal with a lot. And it was mentioned, I think, in this article, like if Bob Melvin can't, be the guy to take this team to the promised land, then who is going to be that guy? The next guy that comes in, let's say Bob Melvin parts ways or AJ decides to relieve Bob Melvin of his duties and he gets to hire another manager, right? Let's say that happens. The next guy that comes in is going to be compared with Bob Melvin. And that next guy, there's no way, in my opinion, that next guy is going to be as good of a manager as Bob Melvin. Bob, as I've already said, Bob Melvin, I've said this in the past, he already has the respect of all of the superstars in that clubhouse. You don't hear anyone saying anything negative about Bob Melvin. They have the respect of him. You see players saying anonymous quotes to the media, to Dennis Lynn and stuff, and Ken Rosenthal about AJ Preller and how he kind of lacks like a feel of the players in that clubhouse and lacks a feel of the coaching staff and the coaching staff feeling like, oh, AJ nitpicks everything and just doesn't let us do our job. Like that's kind of the sense I got reading this article here. You have people complaining about AJ. You don't have people complaining about Bob Melvin. That's like some Padres fans that are just looking for someone to be the scapegoat, the manager, and they still believe in AJ Preller here. And I don't want to, again, I don't want this to be like AJ Preller's an idiot. He's not. He's smart. We know that. He works his butt off. He's obsessed. That's part of the reason why I loved him last year with, all the stories, and bringing in Juan Soto, not being afraid to make that move, falling asleep on his couch at like 2 in the morning or whatever it was, talking to a scout on the night before the trade deadline, the morning, I guess, of the trade deadline, like works his butt off. I love that. I'd rather have someone really, really care than someone that doesn't care enough. But it seems like it's pretty clear that he needs to take a little bit of a step back here. If he's going to continue being the president of baseball operations for this Padres team and the GM, which it seems like he will, he's got to let the coaching staff go do their job. He's got to let other people in this organization go do their job and trust that they know what they're doing. When he hired Bob Melvin, that was supposed to take a lot off of his shoulders, right? Because you have Andy Green, Jace Tingler, you're probably telling them a lot of things like what they should do, right? But now you bring in Bob Melvin, and this guy has all the experience in the world. He has Matt Williams on his staff, Ryan Christensen. You can go down the line, and you're like, okay, pressure's off of me now, right? I mean, I just hired a great manager, respected by all players, rave reviews, had success with limited resources in Oakland. All right, I can step back here. I can sit and relax, put my feet up on the desk. I'm good. But it seems like that's not what AJ has done here. And he can't help himself but continue to try to be involved every single day with every little thing with this organization at the major league level, it feels like, when maybe he should just lean into what he is really good at, which is evaluating talent and like that scouting background. Hey, I think I've criticized him in the past for like maybe not being with the big league club enough. But after reading this report here this morning, it's like, how about no. How about go scout some more 14-year-olds, some more 17-year-olds, go do that more so you can let the coaching staff, the major league staff do their jobs and not be so into that. So going back to Bob Melvin again, I just wonder why Bob Melvin would want to stay in 2024. Can he deal with AJ Preller again in 2024? And maybe we're probably not even going to get to the answer of that. We're probably not going to get to that point of Melvin in 2024 because I feel like Melvin's going to be gone after this season. And AJ is going to be allowed to bring in another manager, or maybe it's Melvin going to be able to, or Melvin's going to be like, I just can't deal with this anymore. I'm going to step away. Maybe Bob Melvin's going to go to Peter and be like, AJ or me, because it's just not working. One of us has to go. So who are you going to pick? And I feel like it would be AJ Preller. I mean, Seidler's the one that said AJ is excellence in July. Maybe not a lot of things have changed. I mean, they weren't that great back then, and now they're still not that great. But he didn't say that same thing about Bob Melvin. And AJ's the one that's been here for almost a decade. So I think that he would stick with AJ Preller. And with Bob Melvin, he would just say, okay, it's not working. I believe in AJ. Thank you so much for 2022. We're going to try to go in a different direction. I'm sorry that it didn't work, but AJ's my guy. I believe in him. I feel like that's what's going to happen here. But man, it's going to suck if Bob Melvin loses his job, because it's clear with all of this stuff, like it's not Bob Melvin's. Is there any big piece coming out about how bad Bob Melvin is? No, there's no piece that's coming out about how bad Bob Melvin is, right? Kevin Acee wrote a piece about the Padres' leadership, and Manny Machado was the central piece of that, right? Then there's this. The central piece of this, it feels like, is AJ Preller and the front office, right? And some of the things that AJ Preller has done, some of the hires that he has made. Is there a long piece that's come out from someone about how bad Bob Melvin is? Some of the bad things Bob Melvin does? No, because he's not the problem. I think it's pretty clear here. Like, he's made some mistakes managing wise, sure. Situationally, just like every manager in baseball history has done. No manager in baseball history, at least that I know, has been perfect. But Bob Melvin, in terms of like the big picture stuff, why this team is failing, it's not because of something that Bob Melvin is doing.